Have you ever wondered what it would be like to walk through the streets of ancient Egypt, to see the pyramids being built, or to come face to face with a pharaoh? For thousands of years, this world was lost to time, visible only through ruins and ancient texts. But today, something incredible is happening. We're using the power of artificial intelligence to breathe life back into this legendary civilization. What we're uncovering is changing everything we thought we knew. So, get ready, because we're about to travel back 5,000 years and witness the resurrection of ancient Egypt, brought to you by the technology of tomorrow. This isn't just a history lesson. It's a journey into a world reborn. Our story begins where Egypt itself began, along the banks of the mighty Nile River. This wasn't just a river. It was the lifeblood of an entire civilization. Every single year, like clockwork, the Nile would overflow its banks, flooding the surrounding lands. This might sound like a disaster, but for the ancient Egyptians, it was a miracle. When the floodwaters receded, they left behind a thick layer of rich, black, fertile soil called silt. This black land was so incredibly fertile that crops grew effortlessly. This agricultural abundance meant that not everyone had to be a farmer. People could become craftsmen, soldiers, priests, and builders. It was this gift from the Nile that allowed small settlements to grow into bustling towns, and those towns into magnificent cities. For over 3,000 years, while other empires rose and fell, the consistent, predictable rhythm of the Nile allowed Egyptian civilization not just to survive, but to flourish and become one of the most enduring and influential cultures in all of human history. At the very top of this society, ruling over every aspect of life, was the pharaoh. But the pharaoh wasn't just a king or an emperor in the way we might think of one today. To the Egyptian people, the pharaoh was a living god on earth, a divine link between the heavens and humanity. They held absolute power. The land, the resources, the army, and even the religious beliefs of the people were all under their direct control. They were the chief priest, the commander-in-chief, and the ultimate judge. The wealth they commanded was almost unimaginable, funneled into building monumental temples, palaces, and of course, their own elaborate tombs. Over 3 millennia, Egypt saw hundreds of pharaohs, but some became true legends, whose names echo through eternity. Think of Tutankhamun, the boy king whose solid gold mask captivates us still, or Hatshepsut, a powerful female pharaoh who ruled in her own right, bringing great prosperity. And then there's Ramses II, often called Ramses the Great, who reigned for an incredible 66 years, covering Egypt with statues and monuments to his own glory. And of course, the last pharaoh, Cleopatra VII, whose intelligence, ambition, and dramatic life story have made her an icon of power and tragedy. These weren't just rulers, they were gods among mortals, and their stories are the story of Egypt itself. And what is the most enduring symbol of these god kings? The pyramids. These colossal structures weren't just impressive buildings. They were sacred machines designed to launch the pharaoh's soul into the afterlife. The most famous of them all, the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for the pharaoh Khufu, is an absolute marvel of engineering. It's constructed from an estimated 2.3 million massive stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. For over 3,800 years after its completion, it stood as the tallest man-made structure on the entire planet. Think about that. No cathedral, no castle, nothing built for nearly 4 millennia could surpass it. And the most mind-boggling part, the ancient Egyptians built these wonders without the help of modern machinery. No cranes, no bulldozers, no power tools. They did it with sheer human ingenuity, incredible organization, and an unparalleled understanding of mathematics and logistics. Even today, with all our advanced technology, scientists and engineers are still debating the exact methods they used to quarry, transport, and lift these gigantic stones with such astonishing precision. The pyramids are not just tombs. They are a timeless testament to human potential and ambition. But what about the ordinary people who lived in the shadow of these great monuments? Life in ancient Egypt was far from a simple, primitive existence. It was a vibrant, complex, and colorful society. Most people were farmers, their lives dictated by the rhythm of the Nile's flood and harvest. But the cities were bustling hubs of activity. You would find skilled artisans crafting beautiful jewelry, furniture, and pottery. There were scribes, the educated elite, who mastered the complex system of hieroglyphic writing, keeping records for the temples and the state. Priests conducted daily rituals to honor the gods, while soldiers defended the borders. Merchants traded goods up and down the Nile and beyond, bringing exotic materials from distant lands. Children played games. Families gathered to eat meals of bread, beer, vegetables, and fish. And underpinning everything was a profound and powerful belief system. They didn't just believe in an afterlife. They actively prepared for it throughout their entire lives. This focus on eternity shaped their art, their architecture, and their daily actions, creating a culture that was deeply spiritual and intricately organized. This deep spirituality was centered on a vast and fascinating pantheon of gods and goddesses. The Egyptians believed their world was filled with divine forces that controlled every aspect of nature and human existence. At the head of this pantheon was Ra, the powerful sun god, who sailed across the sky in his solar boat each day, bringing light and life to the world. There was Osiris, the god of the underworld, who judged the souls of the dead. His wife, Isis, was a protective goddess of magic and motherhood. And perhaps one of the most recognizable is Anubis, the jackal-headed god who guided the deceased through the perilous journey to the afterlife and presided over the important ritual of mummification. The Egyptians believed that death was not an end, but a transition. They mummified the bodies of the dead to preserve them for the soul, or Ka, to inhabit in the next world. They believed that if you lived a just and moral life, your heart would be weighed against the feather of truth. If it was light, your soul would be granted eternal life in a paradise known as the Field of Reeds. This belief in an eternal reward for a good life was a cornerstone of their society. For centuries, our vision of this incredible world has been pieced together from crumbling ruins, faded tomb paintings, and fragmented texts. We could imagine, but we could never truly see it until now. Until now, today, a technological revolution is allowing us to bridge the gap between imagination and reality. Using advanced artificial intelligence, historians, archaeologists, and artists are feeding mountains of data from archaeological surveys and CT scans of mummies to translations of hieroglyphs into powerful computer algorithms. These AIs are then able to reconstruct ancient Egypt with breathtaking accuracy. We can now look upon the faces of pharaohs like Tutankhamun or Ramses II not as stylized statues, but as photorealistic human beings. We can digitally walk through the sprawling temple complex of Karnak in its original, vibrant colors. We can watch as AI recreates entire lost cities, showing us what daily life might have looked like on the streets of Thebes or Memphis. History is no longer just something you read about in a book. It's becoming a visual, immersive experience that we can explore. The world of the pharaohs, the pyramids, and the gods may have vanished thousands of years ago, but its legacy is all around us in Our architecture, our writing, our concepts of time, and our enduring quest for immortality. Ancient Egypt left an indelible mark on human civilization. And now, thanks to the power of artificial intelligence, we are no longer just looking at the echoes of the past. We are beginning to see it, to experience it, and to understand it in a way that was never before possible. As technology continues to advance, who knows what other secrets of this ancient land we will unlock? The journey back in time has only just begun. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey. If you were as amazed as we are by what AI can reveal about our history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the past. We'll see you next time.